Welcome to Last Bell Boxing. It's been a while, lads. I'll
Yeah,
do some
definitely.
introductions first and foremost. Daz, Medcalf, how are you, pal?
I'm good, mate. Thank you.
Good to have you on, mate.
Cheers, pal.
And Last Bell Boxing's new roaming reporter, Sean, how are you, mate?
Yeah, very well, thanks, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, very good, mate. Did you enjoy Friday night?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think it was the best night I've had in, I don't know, so many years. So absolutely.
Oh, great stuff, mate. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We'll go on to the Channel 5 show in a little while, but we're going to start. There's only really one place we can start, and that's with the historic Royal Albert Hall show. First and foremost, guys, before we get into the fights, what a venue! Daz, why? I've been racking my brains to figure this out. Why do we not have more boxing shows at the Royal Albert Hall?
I don't know, mate. To be fair, it must be something to do with the ownership, or they've got other things on. It's been an historic venue for quite a while. I mean, Bruno fought there. I think Lennox has fought there. Yeah, it's an amazing venue, mate. It's one venue I've not been to be fair. And I wish I'm definitely going to make that a venue I go to in the future. It's an amazing venue.
It is an amazing venue. It does get used a lot, to be fair, and probably that's why it clashes. But I mean, Crowbar is showing. Do one in the middle of the week. Whatever you need to do, we need to be getting more shows on at the Albert Hall. Sean, do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a historic venue, isn't it? As you both have said. So it's a shame that there's not much boxing there, really. But yeah, going forward, it'd be great to see more there.
It would, right? Let's crack straight on then, lads. We'll start at the top of the card. I got this completely wrong. I went Natsha Jonas points. I thought her experience. I thought she'd figure a way. But Lauren Price was outstanding. Speed, accuracy, power. She seemed to have so much time to pick shots. We'll go into why that might be in a minute, but let me just touch on the scorecards first and foremost, guys. So we had 100 to 90, 98 to 93, and 98 to 92. I don't know about you, lads. I'll come to you first, Daz. They're pretty bang on to me. I struggle to give Natasha a round.
Mate, to be fair, anything other than 100 to 90 or 99, 91, whatever, I just couldn't see how they could see that. Yeah. She was dominant, and I've said for quite a bit, I believe Sandy Ryan is the best welterweight in the world. I still believe that. Unfortunately, she's the second best welterweight. Lauren Price, mate, were just outstanding, absolutely outstanding. And Lauren's, and to be fair, mate, I was a bit surprised that the commentators didn't really pick this up. Her lead right hook was unreal. She was timing that to perfection, and the amount of times that she turned Tasha sideways with that shot was, when Tasha was looking to throw that, it was unbelievable, mate. She was just, it was like she had a premonition when Tasha's left hand would come in, and she just threw that right hook, and she just totally turned her off centre. And what I liked about Lauren as well, that when Tasha had a little bit of success, Lauren was straight back.
Yeah, I mean, I was.
I tell you,
go
on. I tell you what, the only concern I sort of have is I don't think she's a big puncher. I think she's a stinging puncher, which is what Tasha said after. But can you imagine if she had a bit of pop in her gloves? Power. Mate, I'll tell you what, she's going to take some beating as it is.
Yeah.
She's She looked like she could have done 20 rounds, 30 rounds.
It'd be interesting to see if somebody, I don't know how they do it, but if somebody, and I think Sandy Ryan's maybe the only one that would be able to, is to push her back. It'd be interesting to see what happens when she gets a bit of adversity, because I mean, up until the weekend, she hadn't lost a single round. I still don't think she's lost a single round, but obviously some of the judges gave it
I'd
that
agree
she
with
did.
that.
Sean, I'll come to you, mate. Is it a case of Lauren Price is that good, or is it a case that Natasha Jonas has slowed down slightly, and it made the night a little bit easier for Lauren?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both, to be honest. I think Lauren Price, I guess the best compliment I can give her, she reminds me of a sort of female Billy Joe Saunders, really, with his style and how he boxes. So I think she's almost untouchable, really, for most of the women in boxing. All credit to her, because she put a fantastic performance in. And as you guys know, I was at Brighton on Friday night when the show was on, and a couple of the guys in the press, they had it on their laptop, so I was fortunate to see it as well. And yeah, I just think she was absolutely dominant, and she deserved the win.
I mean, absolutely outstanding. I'm like Daz. I'm a massive Sandy Ryan fan. I think Sandy Ryan beats Michaela Mayer in the second fight, and then we should get it on straight away. Whether that happens or not is another matter. But I mean, I've been saying for ages, Sandy Ryan's the best, just like Daz has. On that performance, though, from Lauren Price on Friday, I can't say that anymore. She was punch perfect, and the reason I asked you that, Sean, about Natasha was because I don't think it is that she slowed down. Not at all. It's going to be interesting to see when the winner of Michaela Mayer and Sandy Ryan goes in against Lauren Price. We're going to find out. We'll find out then, and we'll know then whether it was that Natasha had slowed down. But I don't think it is.
I was having a conversation on yesterday. Obviously, I was at a couple of shows yesterday, and I was having a conversation with some, a couple of decent, well-respected boxing people, and I'm not going to say their names, but there was at two different venues, and they both said, take a step back, ask yourself, was Natasha Jonas ever really that good anyway?
Oh, that's harsh, mate.
And I said, mate, my reaction was the same, and I went, oof, bit harsh. And they're like, well, who she beat? I went, well, I mean, she ran Taylor close and stuff like that. And he went, running close in all-time great material, though. And I thought it was a bit harsh, but I can see sort of where they're coming from.
Oh, fair enough.
I mean?
Okay, right. Okay. He's got two arguments going there for me. Firstly, was she really that good? That's the harsh part.
Well, I think what they both meant was she really elite level in the first place? Not so much any good. I think they sort of meant, was she really elite level in the first place?
There's two ways to look at it for me.
And
there's two ways to look at it for me, Daz. She's been a trailblazer. There's no two ways about it. She was obviously with Katie Taylor in 2012. She was the first.
Mate, honestly, not to cut you off, right? I said the same thing to both of them, right? Yeah. I went, she was a trailblazer. She actually paved the way, right? And they both came with the same response. They said, so would you.
That was a different. That's different times though.
And I was like,
that's for me. That's different times. But female female boxing wasn't when Jane Crouch was back. Female boxing wasn't what it is today.
No,
She
definitely not.
she was a different animal, Daz, because she was doing it when nobody believed.
Yeah, this is not my
That was a
argument, by the
completely
way.
different thing.
This is not my
Yeah,
opinion
yeah, I
on
know
Natsha
it's not.
Jonas,
I know
by the
it's not. Yeah, I know
way.
it's not. I know it's not.
He's just throwing a couple of comments from people who are very knowledgeable.
Yeah,
And if I'm honest, mate, would I say that Tasha was elite level? I probably wouldn't, mate, to be fair. I probably wouldn't. Very, very good. Very, very good. But elite level, I think we saw what elite level was on Friday.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you. I'd probably agree with you that maybe she's world level, maybe not elite level. I mean that's a fair argument, maybe.
Yeah, 100%.
But you can't take it away from her, mate. She's defined what this era of female boxing is all about. She's been to the point, Daz, where she's frustrated in the Terry Harper fight is a prime example. Frustrated. She should have won that fight. She didn't get the result. She come very close against Katie Taylor. She was level on points going into the last 2 rounds with Katie Taylor, and Katie Taylor pulled away in the last 2 rounds. And that's we all go on about Katie Taylor being the best of the best. To lose Katie Taylor by 2 rounds, mate, is not anything to be scoffed at. No, and then she's gone on to now become a 5-time world champion.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of their argument. I mean, one point that come up was, well, you know, the caliber of opposition who she beat for a world titles, you know, stuff like that. And I says, well, she beat some good fighters, but you know, and listen, their argument was, you know, even that they said the same thing. She's a world level, no danger, world level, but not elite. And they says, you know, it was clever maneuvering. You know, she never beat an elite fighter for a world titles. And I says, you know, yeah, maybe a bit harsh.
Let's break that down then, Daz. Let's break that down. How many elite fighters has she had the opportunity to fight for the belts that she's won the
listen, my argument back was, well, is there enough elite fighters around to beat?
No.
You know what I mean? No. I mean, I think to judge her, I ended the discussion with my opinion of it is the first. I mean, yeah, Katie Taylor and all them, but you know, the elite fighters that she's fought, she has come up short against, but you know, the only one who's really beat her by a country mile was Lauren Price.
And we are talking at the very end of her career, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I mean, I think that'd have happened 10 years ago. To be fair, I think Lauren Price is just that good.
I don't think it. I think Lauren Price is that good. I don't think it would have been a clean sweep if it had been Natasha 5 years ago.
I don't, mate. I think she'd have still won comfortable.
She might have won comfortably, but it wouldn't have been a clean sweep.
Yeah.
No. Let me bring Sean in.
No.
Sean, what's your take on what Daz has just said there? He spoke to 2 guys that know a lot, you know, and Daz don't throw that about very often. That, you know, people that know a lot about the business that he's been talking to. So I respect what they're saying. I just don't agree to a degree. But what's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, I could be criticised for saying this, but from my perspective, I think with her hair, she almost cherry picked the weight where she felt she would win world titles. I mean, when she come up short, that was her natural weights, in my opinion. And you know, we've seen in weigh-ins where she sort of weighed in fully clothed. I don't doubt that she's a great fighter, but I think that she sort of sort of weaker weight division, and I think that's where she sort of targeted and then knew she could dominate. If you see what I mean.
I do, mate. I see that argument. I'll counter that argument. Everyone's going to say I'm a I'm a Natasha Jonas fanboy here, but I'll counter that argument by saying she was never ever going to get another fight against Katie Taylor. It wasn't going to happen because the fight was that close.
No,
that seems the norm, though. That seems the norm. If you run Katie close, you don't get
Exactly
another chance unless you won the first time.
Exactly that. And we talk about Katie Taylor as the highest of the highest, and so we should because of what she's achieved. But Natasha had no choice but to move up. She had no choice, mate. She wasn't getting fights. No promoter was putting her in world title fights. What could she do? So what she did was she took herself out of what you would call a comfort zone. She moved 2 or 3 weights up and tested herself against people much bigger than her. So you can argue potentially that they weren't elite fighters, but then who was an elite fighter at that weight when she won that first title?
The thing is, if you've got skill, you've got a skill advantage. You'll win. You know, it's very rare that someone will beat you just because they're naturally bigger. If they're skill wise, it's very rare that they'll beat you just on weight, having a weight advantage. I mean, there's that saying, a good big un beats a good little un. But to be fair, a decent big un always gets whipped by a very good little one. You know, so there is that. But listen, I will fight in a corner because I think she's done wonders for female boxing, for everything, and good luck to her in whatever she wants to do. But I can see people's arguments with her.
Okay. It's fair point, mate. You're entitled to it, and there'll be a lot of people that agree with you, and there'll be a lot of people that don't.
No, I don't agree with it though. I don't agree with it.
So that brings me on to
I like it.
That brings me on to my next question, Daz. If you was training, managing, promoting Natasha Jonas, what would you be telling her to do now?
Well, at first, I'd be asking her what she wants to do.
Yep.
It's her decision. I pretty much think Joe Gallagher's going to be encouraging her to retire. I mean, it depends what she thinks she's got left. I mean, she said that Lauren was too quick, but Lauren's the elite of the division for me. So
could you see Natasha coming down
if
a
Tasha, no,
not now.
Not at 40, mate. No, not now. I mean, who have we got like welterweight female really?
So that's super lightweight. That's Chantel Cameron.
Chantel at that.
Chantel.
I mean, is there a fight there?
Possibly.
Chantel's not getting the Katie Taylor fight, so was Chantel going to defend her title against Natasha? I'm sure it'd sell, but there is options. I think if she wants to carry on, but regarding the winner, Lauren Price. I think Lauren Price is going to be in ring with Clarissa Shields at some point.
Do you think that'll be before she?
And I think Lauren.
Do you think that'll be before she becomes undisputed? If that, because for me, mate, I'll get Sean's opinion on this in a sec. But for me, it's the only fight that can be made once we get a definitive result from Michaela Mayer against Sandy Ryan. Because in my opinion, that first fight shouldn't have happened. Sandy Ryan should never have stepped into that ring after what happened going to the venue. it completely
I
took a
think
mindset away from the fight.
I think Lauren will become undisputed at welter, and then I think we'll get some sort of back and forth, and I think they'll make a match with Lauren and Clarissa, maybe a middle in between, middle and light middle, and I tell you, I think Lauren will turn her over. I think Lauren will beat her.
Sean, same questions to you, mate.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was incredibly impressed by Lauren Price. I think she's probably, I mean, it's hard to compare male and female boxing, but, you know, I think she's probably the best female boxing we've seen in quite a long while. And I think she can go her career unbeaten, really.
Who do you see winning Michaela Mayer, Sandy Ryan too?
I really hope Sandy Ryan wins because I like her a lot, and I think that she edged the first fight. So I hope she rights the wrong, and I'm very much backing Sandy Ryan in this fight.
So if we do get the undisputed, it'd be Sandy Ryan against Lauren Price.
Yeah, I think Lauren Price, unfortunately for Sandy, will have just too much for her. I think she's a superior fighter, got the better skills, and I think that will be proven in the fight, unfortunately, for Sandy.
Gaz, same question to you. Who wins out of Mayer and Ryan?
Yeah, listen, I thought Sandy won the first fight. I think Sandy's going to win this fight, barring a bit of a dodgy decision. But I think no matter who wins it, Lauren Price beats both anyway.
Okay. Let's quickly go through this undercard, and then we can move on to the Channel 5 card for our roaming reporter here.
Yeah.
I know you had quite a strong opinion on Caroline Dubois in this fight, Daz, but she won very convincingly against Bo Mishin, 98-93, 98-92, and then we had that absolutely bizarre scorecard of 95-95 from Jae Mon Kim. There's a shock that we got that scorecard from there. I don't know where that scorecard came from. It's absolutely nuts. I don't want to dwell on that, but let's talk about the fight. And I want your opinion, Daz, because I think you had quite strong opinions on Caroline Dubois' performance. How are we doing, Sue?
Excuse the visitor. Yeah, listen, I didn't think it was the best opponent when I first saw it, but I was quite guilty of not really knowing much about Shin.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, she was very lively, very tough. I think she's sort of shown a bit of a blueprint on how to beat Caroline Dubois, if I'm honest. I think Beatrice Ferreira will be sat watching that thinking, I've got you.
Right. And do you think she does?
Pressure? That's $1 million question, isn't it? Listen, yeah, I know. Listen, they've both fought nowhere near caliber of each other.
Yeah.
So, Caroline will be Ferreira's best opponent and vice versa. But Beatrice Ferreira hits hard. So, she puts pressure on. And I know Shane McGuigan said afterwards that Caroline had a virus. But listen, Shin kept coming all night. She wasn't discouraged. She kept coming all night. Wasn't just them last 2 rounds. She kept coming. So I also think that Caroline maybe put a bit of pressure on herself with way she were talking. I wasn't really keen on how she were talking and stuff like that. Because she seemed like she's gone from being a very humble person to she seemed a bit arrogant, to be fair. But listen, she got the win, and we'll see what's next. But they've got to put her in now. They've got to have big fights now, surely.
Yeah.
Can't keep. I know Shin was a mandatory, so right now that's out of the way. Let's get some unifications.
Yeah, it's got to happen, I think, next. Sean, did you catch this one? Have you watched this back?
Yes, yeah, I agree with much of what Dad says. To be honest, I think Caroline Dubois, yeah, she's almost getting a bit too big for her station, really. I mean, there's no doubt about it. She's a talented fighter, but I think, you know, maybe sooner rather than later she'll get a bit of a humbling to an extent. But yeah, she came through this one with flying colours, and I don't think anyone expected any less, to be honest.
Okay. Moving on to what I thought was quite a one-sided fight, and I didn't think it was going to be. Kerry Sartinstall against Raven Chapman. I think Raven tried her best. She brought something to the table, but it clearly wasn't enough. Kerry Sartinstall come through with a convincing win. The question is, Daz, what's next?
Well, she said it herself.
Well,
Go for a
don't you?
world title. Yeah, go for a world title, the IBF, I think it was, and then her and Sky. So she knows that she's got to get something to bargain with,
Yeah.
because she beat Sky in Olympics. Caris is very good, very, very good. It's fairly hard as well. It's harder than a record suggests as
I
well.
think that was one of the defining
quite
things in the
long.
fight, mate. I think she surprised Raven Chapman.
Yeah, I mean, she dealt with Raven better than Sky, really, for me. She seemed to be a bit more in control, and that's probably because of the bit more pop in the punches. See, Sky's not really going to have the advantages over Caris as well. You know, the height, the reach, and stuff like that. So, and Caris has already beat her. I know it's in amateurs, but I don't think Sky's that much of a different fighter. You know, as she were in amateurs, it's similar style. So it'll be very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Absolutely. I think she really, really pushes Sky. Sky's got one of them styles. You've talked about it loads of times, Daz. She doesn't like to engage, but she's very, very good on the outside. And it's all about whether Caris can walk her down, can trap her, can cut the ring off. I have a sneaky opinion that I don't think Sky Nicholson likes getting it.
No, do you know what, mate? She actually doesn't. I've been told on good authorities. I've been told on good authority that actually Sky has admitted, I don't like getting it.
That's nuts to say for a boxer, isn't it?
Mate, honestly, I've heard it from practically horse's mouth.
Right.
That she said, I don't like getting it. I mean, nobody does really, but
well, no, of course not.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what keeps her sharp, you know.
Probably. But at some point, mate, she's going to come up against somebody that's as good as her.
Yeah.
Sean, did you see this one?
I did, yes, yeah.
What's your take, mate?
Yeah, I felt it would be a bit more competitive than what it was, to be honest. I felt that, you know, Caris, she's been in a fair few good fights, but not really showing what she's all about. And I think this was her sort of coming of age fight, really. And I think she handled it quite well and rightfully was a winner.
Right. Moving on to the fight of the night that is the most important to Daz, and the most important to Daz as Commonwealth champion. I'm going to come to you second on this one, mate. I'm going to let you stew on it a little bit, so you get your words right. And I'll come to you, Sean. Jasmina Zapatochna, I think that's pronounced right. If not, I do apologise, Jasmina. Beat Chloe Watson in an absolutely brilliant fight. Fight of the night for me. And Jazz showed exactly what she's about in this fight. Sean, break down this fight for me. Do you think the result was right?
I do, yeah. I think Chloe Watson was rightfully the loser, unfortunately for her. But I thought Yeah, she was absolutely in a great fight, and I felt that the right victor was given a decision, because I did worry, because a couple of the guys where I was watching at Brighton, they were streaming the fight. I don't know if it was legally, but they were, and it was very much the sort of focus of our attention, really, because there was a couple of snooze fish, shall I say, in the ring at the time. But yeah, that very much took attention, and I'm grateful that the right victor was given a decision.
Well, if Mark Bateson had had anything to do about it, they wouldn't have, because his scorecard was absolutely shocking.
Yeah. I mean,
97-93 scored it to Chloe Watson. I don't know what fight he was watching.
I think he might have had a blindfold on, to be honest, because that was never the right decision, was it? I mean, it was totally diabolical, that one.
Awful. Yeah, maybe it was close. Maybe, I mean, the other two scorecards were 96-95. I think it was a bit wider than that. I've got to be honest. But from certain aspects of the ring, maybe you could see that it could be close. Daz, you know Jasmina very, very well. Nicola Nicola Sparza on a regular. You're very close to the team. You're very close to a coach. You're very close to Jasmina herself. You called this because you've seen her up close and personal. Break down the fight for me, mate.
Jazz just did what Jazz has been training to do. The last 3 or 4 spars that Nick and Jasmina had, obviously the tactics that we wanted to employ with Kate Radomska, Nick's opponent, were suitable for Jazz to use in preparation for Chloe. And listen, after the last spar, me and Mark, Jazz's trainer, we both discussed, and I said, listen, Chloe Watson is not going to attack Jasmina with the ferocity that Nick's attacked her with in these last 4 spars. Nick just would not leave her alone. I mean, throwing punches, listen, an insane amount of punches. And Jasmina, she handled it. So I had no worries that she were going to handle Chloe, basically, because as much as I think Chloe's a good fighter, I think she's trying too much to be like Ricky Hatton. And she's not Ricky Hatton. I don't think that style suits her, if I'm honest. I think, as an amateur, I've seen her box, and very, very, very skillful, but just seems to be a brawler. I mean, some of these fighters, these female fighters that are around at minute at these lower weights, they seem to fight like the one punch KO artists. Yeah. Just throwing one bomb at a time. And I think this is where Jasmina excels. I think Jasmina knows that she's probably not a one punch KO artist. She's got some sting in her punches, don't get me wrong, but she also knows that she's very skillful. So she uses that. So when Chloe's trying to pot shot against her, one shot is easier to counter than 3 or 4. So I think some of these girls are falling into the trap where they think that they're one punch KO artists and they're not, but they're fighting like one punch KO artists, and it's costing them. So for me, like I said, Jasmina knows her identity in a boxing ring. She knows what she's good at, and she utilizes that. And to top it off, she's a brilliant person as well. She's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, and that goes for Mark, her trainer, as well, and Stevie Conway at that gym, Callum Simpson's at that gym. They're all absolutely spot on people.
It says a lot about Jasmina's mental attitude that she's gone into the lion's den twice now, really. because you can say that Chloe Watson was the own fighter in this fight, and obviously she's gone and done it on Sky on Matchroom as well. To do that 2 fights on the trot and come out victorious in both fights tells you a lot about her and her team, done it.
Yeah, listen, she's done amazing, and she's ever so nice. She's really humble. She makes a mean chocolate brownie as well that she's brought into gym. Yeah, listen, obviously we've spoke about the possibility of Nicola Via.
I wasn't going to go there.
Yeah, you were. European, WBA International, Commonwealth. And I think if that did happen, I think it deserve a British title on it. Listen, I'm telling you now, it'll be a better fight than that with Chloe.
Yeah,
it'd be an absolute cracker.
More, it?
An absolute cracker. Yeah,
I'm not going to put Jazz on the spot here with it, Sean. I'm going to put you on the spot though. If Nicola Oatwell fights Jasmina, who wins?
Well, I really hope Nicola wins.
You think Nicola would win, Sean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
She's with the best British trainer in my eyes, mate.
Nah, come on, give me your honest opinion.
What a suck up!
Come on, now give me your honest opinion.
No, I genuinely think she could beat her. To be honest, everything I've seen of them both, I don't see why Nicola can't.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they can all beat each other on any given night.
I was just about to say that.
All of them. Yeah, all these flyweights can beat each other.
You know what, Daz?
Chloe
it's a bit of a golden era for flyweights, I think, in this country.
Well, yeah, I mean, Chloe could fight Jazz again, and Chloe could win.
Yep.
Listen, Maisie's making some improvements, so she could win if she fought Jazz again. But you've got to go on results and say Jazz has earned the right to be called the best flyweight in the country. You can't argue with that. The biggest thing, the biggest compliment I'll say is that any fight between any of them, but particularly Jazz and Nicola as well, I think would come down to fine margins. If one of them didn't move the red enough, it could cost them a fight. Stuff like that. Yeah. So there's not one of them's head and shoulders above any others. You could, you can make any fight. I've said this before. You can make any fight out of them, out of any of them, and it'd be a good one.
Would it also be fair to say, Daz, that if that fight with Nicola didn't happen in the very short term, would it be fair to say that Jasmine has earned herself a world title shot?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to think that it's a tough ask against Gabriela Fundora.
Of course.
But, it depends what Jazz's management and training team are looking at. I mean, maybe her and Nick and the winner gets a shot at a world title.
Yeah.
Or maybe even Gabriela Fundora thinks, I can't make flyweight anymore, moves up to super flyweight. And then you've got fractured titles. Listen, what an event that'd be. Jasmina v Nick for a world title. Do you know what I mean? What an event that'd be.
Absolutely.
Or even an eliminator. But listen, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm really good friends with Mark and really good friends with Jazz. And we've all discussed this as well, and we've said, we'll go for food after the weigh-in. The day of the fight, we'll not talk to each other. And after the fight, we'll go for food after. Friends before, friends after. But respect during as well.
Yeah. I could see that. I could see that from both of you. Okay, I think that's a good place to end that one. So